Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so apparently I'm having a little bit of trouble, but hopefully this computer will work its kinks out. So, hello, everyone. I am Janine, and I'm live with you here. And I just want to kind of talk a little bit about the story of Uncle Sam. And this kind of came to my attention doing a show with Buckshot. And I do believe he probably took the Constitution. From my understanding, it's been a watered down version year after year after year in the school systems. So, with that said, let me just see if I can get out of this. With that said, I just kind of want to talk about the story of Uncle Sam and the personification of the United States and the blend of historical facts, folklores, or patriotic symbolism. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a very patriotic this morning. There's some elections going on in this country that doesn't feel very patriotic, but we'll get to that at the end of the show. So stay with me if you will. So, who is Uncle Sam? Do you guys remember Uncle Sam? Right? Is it still pertinent today? Well, we're going to kind of go through that a little bit and see how that symbolism actually is playing out for our country. So, Uncle Sam originated in the War of 1812. I remember it well. The name is linked to Samuel Wilson. He was a meat packer uh, from Troy, New York, who supplied barrels of beef to the U.S. Army. These barrels were stamped U.S. for United States, but the soldiers jokingly referred to it as a provision that came about as Uncle Sam. So the U.S. stood for the Uncle Sam. All right, so that's where we got that. But um, after Wilson, who's also known as reliability and patriotism, and so some of the stuff I did get off of AI, and if it's incorrect, you guys let me know. The nicknames caught on in the associating Uncle Sam with the U.S. government. The character gained traction through the 19th century, symbolism of American identity. So by the 1930s, let's see what that is. So here we go. This was the War of 1812, where the cartoonists depict Uncle Sam as a lanky, bearded man, often dressed in a patriotic attire. And so his image definitely has evolved over time. But this tall, white-haired with a goatee wearing a top hat, this is a picture that I showed you guys previously. Um, so he basically was tall, white-haired with a goatee, wearing a top hat, blue jacket, red and white striped pants, and let's see what else we have here. He solidified in the early 20th century largely through the political cartoonist Thomas Nast, and later on James Montgomery Flagg. So let's see what else we have up here for you guys. I'm trying to get this together. So this is the whole reason why Uncle Sam came about is they were stamping these beef barrels. It stood for U.S. And so in 1830, a cartoonist depicted it as the Uncle Sam. So let's see what else we have here. In 1917, a World War recruitment poster featured Uncle Sam pointing directly at the viewers with a caption, "I want you for the U.S. Army." The cemented character placed in the American culture, inspired by the British poster featuring Lord Kitchener. I'm not even going to go into that because I don't really care about that. This is about our Uncle Sam in U.S. history, and it was basically used in both world wars and beyond. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so let's see here. So these are the wars that it was used in. All right, so let's see what else. Where am I actually going with this here? So the story reflects how the local figures became a national icon through a mix of historical circumstances. And you could tell I don't do very good reading somebody else's material. But so the whole 1812 content of Uncle Sam was used in propaganda. So that's basically where I'm going to go with this. But the patriotism behind it is where I'm kind of going with this with you guys here today. So, as Uncle Sam in 2025, an icon in culture, politics, and pop. So, a lot of people may not even know who Uncle Sam is what I thought, but that's misleading. So, the Super Bowl speculates Samuel L. Jackson, if you guys recall, as Uncle Sam. And he stole the show, right? It's one of the biggest culture reboots game. I don't know what game it was this year, February 9th, I think it was, of 2025. All right. So why does it even matter? So Jackson's Uncle Sam wasn't the benevolent recruiter from World War One poster. He embodied the oppressive force of the government and the media. So it's just a little bit. What impact did it have on it? It racked up millions of views, and sparking the memes and think pieces and debates, so on and so forth. And so I'm just here to kind of talk about the whole patriotism of we want you, right? So I'm going to take this into another direction with you guys. So, what is the current war that's actually going on and is being infiltrated within the United States? And who is actually out there saying, I want you? Is ICE. I truly do believe that. And it's more of the federal government, right, is wanting to remove people who don't belong in this country. We fought for the patriotism of this country, and so the whole, I guess the whole thing where I'm kind of going with this is that we have mayors and governors and people wanting to get voted into this country that aren't even legal to be here, and they're illegal. And a lot of people will just call them immigrants, but they're illegal immigrants. And we're watching this being played out right now. And so let's just kind of fly through this a little bit more. So pointing the finger, right? Uncle Sam did the whole pointing the finger, right? That went on a poster and so on. And who else points the finger all the time is a fearless leader that we have out there. And so let's see, take a look here. Kind of flying through some of my notes here. Just bear with me for 1 second. So will Uncle Sam be resurrected in our culture today? In our pop culture, kind of brings me back around to all this again. I think it has, and I think that it's a little bit different. If we want to go back now, I did a show with Buck on Saturday, and he said he couldn't recall if he took the Constitution or not. In my understanding, just reading through a lot of things, they've watered the Constitution down year after year. So some people may have gotten the full-blown Constitution put in their face like I did, and now today it's gotten so watered down that let's see here. It's gotten to the point where they just give you kind of like bullet points that you just have to understand. I had actually studied the Constitution. It was very in depth and stuff like that. And some young people, some of the conservatives today are fans of Uncle Sam. And they are embracing him as a symbol of rugged American individualism. There's a lot of it out on X if you haven't seen it. You can find it. There's also a lot of anti Uncle Sam, and that's what we're seeing. And this division within our country just blows my mind. And it's at the point where I actually wanted to come on and talk about it, because if I was still following, okay, let's kind of go back to about maybe 8 years ago. If we want to go back 8 years ago, we weren't even thinking about Uncle Sam. We were thinking about our country, and we wanted people to tell the truth. And so we started following people, influencers, if you will, that were popping up all over with different channels. And they kind of replace the whole understanding of what was going on in the country with the truth. And just spewing it out, right? And so today, a lot of people are basically calling this "I want you" is also so much that it's tone deaf because of the propaganda that has been behind it. So it basically is at that point right now that are we totally historically disconnected from the digital noise? And so that's kind of where I want to talk about many Gen Z and Alpha, which I've never realized until I started doing my research. This last generation is actually called Alpha, but it lacks the content about Uncle Sam of the 1812 roots, and that's why I started out with this image here of the Civil War and Samuel Wilson and the distance, and mentioning the origins and stuff like that. It's basically modern symbolism. And there's been so much digital overload that the world is fleeing the whole Uncle Sam. I'm one of these people that I've got a great memory of the past, and it's kind of hard that I let go of it from time to time, and then it just kind of memories flood back in, right? It's just like, wait a second, how come they're not getting what, there's missing pieces of our history, and they did this on purpose. The school systems have done this on purpose. So Uncle Sam is basically, how do I put this here? The Gen Z distrust the government, so they don't use the Uncle Sam because of that. And I don't want to point like to certain generations, but I have to break it down that way. And when we think about what we were taught, the boomers, I'm on the tail end of boomers, the last year of the boomers, so I have to call myself a boomer. But it's almost as if um, I'm sorry, I got distracted with what Amy Boyd was saying out here. Let me just take a break here and come back and say hi to you guys like I always do. And I so appreciate that Colleen is out there. Hey, and Charlene is out there. Colleen and Charlene, always come in at the same time. And let's see here. Arnie says, let's just see. Hey, Arnie, how are you doing? He says, I believe nothing in the history books. Sam was created to glorify war, division, and hate. And yeah, but that's not really where I'm actually going. You guys can always dig deep to the negative side of stuff if you want. You feel free to do that. That's your prerogative. People do it all day long. They look at something, they see a Christmas tree, and they basically say, well, the symbolism behind that tree is this. I don't go with that. I create my own reality. If you want to stay inside of a reality, and this is not directly at Arnie, but this is how strong I feel about stuff that was put and talk about people coming on and influence you, and they did tell you the symbolism. It was a symbolism for the other side. What side are you on? This is the way that I look at it. And I'm not looking at it from a perspective of, oh my God, I got to dig into this Uncle Sam thing. I'm looking at it from a patriotic perspective of saying, where are we at within our country? Do we need to bring back the patriotism? That kind of thing. And I think that if you understand where I'm coming from, you could basically, point out, and Amy is kind of saying like this too, who created Uncle Sam? You never looked into it. I just looked into it. And the stories that I'm actually getting was where it actually started. So they had beef, right? That started out in barrels and was stamped US. And then it kind of rolled into this whole Uncle Sam. And that's as far as I'm going to go with this. I don't want to drudge up their side. Why, if I'm trying to bring positivity and hope back into our country, what I dig up, and of course everybody could do their own research and find out this stuff, and that's perfectly fine, because then you will know better, right? I think that's where Arnie is kind of saying. But he's saying he doesn't believe anything in history. Well, I don't think that originally in the 1950s or 1960s, when they were talking about World War I and World War II, that they would have brought out, the propaganda, or I don't know the word that I'm thinking of, what they wanted to infiltrate within the country. Yes, a lot of the British brought a lot of this crap, into our country. They had to infiltrate from within. But I also think that there's something else that's very much more powerful. Is Arnie is basically saying, yeah, he's definitely on the side of unity, but he also wants people to be aware that there's both sides to this, and I get that. I totally get that, right? And we should also know that. So the question here is, when we go back into the school administrations, and we start reteaching history. We bring back a lot of the stuff that has been lost. We bring back civics. We bring back more of the Constitution. I think it's a watered down version. We start bringing the stuff back. So basically, what they're saying, a lot of information may have been scraped on the internet, but I'm just giving you what I'm seeing here right now. A businessman from Troy, New York, Samuel Wilson, provided the army with beef and pork in barrels during World War of 1812. The barrels were prominently labeled U.S. for the United States, but it was jokingly said that the letters stood for Uncle Sam. Soon, Uncle Sam was used as a shorthand for the federal government. Now, if you want to take that further, and people who are definitely, and I'm one of those, and I'm with you guys, that we're against all these wars because we know what we know now, I'm just talking about the patriotism. So we've got somebody that's basically out in New York that may be voted in, that is what a lot of people out there are saying is basically a communist. Is not good. I see a lot of American people, women, young women out there that they're waving their little sticker that they voted for Mamami or whatever his name is, and stuff like that. And I don't think that people understand what socialism is, what communism is, but they will find out, especially New York. New York will find out real soon. I probably should have Arnie on here speaking because he is a guy from New York. I didn't think about that, Arnie. So yeah, and there's just a lot of, how do I put this? There's just a lot of misinformation, disinformation about the candidates that are running the country because the mainstream media won't give that information out. All right, let's see what else we have out here. Colleen says, I have little memory. Pumpkin seeds. All right, let's see what else we have out here. And Amy Boy is saying the same thing. Yes, unity, one body, all on the same page as we turn the pages. Sorry, this is True Lens. If you're on True Lens or if you're on Turn the Page. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Colleen's got a great statement here. Bring in life skills so kids learn how to do things for themselves. This is huge, huge. I can kind of go into this thing where there was a certain generation, and that's how I'm going to leave it. There was a certain generation out there where they got up, they put the shoes on, walked out the door, and went to work. And it was maybe 12 hours a day. And the kids were latchkey kids or self-sufficient. And then the next generation of kids came along, and they were coddled a little bit more and a little bit more. And what I'm actually seeing right now is kids that can basically do one function, that is to get up and go to work, make a living, and they still rely upon their parents and their grandparents and their aunts and their uncles to help them out. And let's see here. Yeah, Colleen, I loved history when I was in school. She said I didn't learn much in the history class. It just didn't resonate with me. That's how I felt about math. I really did. I felt that way about math. And what is Arnie saying here? Yeah, it's happy town here. He's most likely got to the wake up others the hard way. And Colleen says she eats pumpkin seeds every single day. So do I. Does it work? I don't know. Let's see here. So that's kind of where I wanted to go this morning with you guys. There's only a few people, a few handfuls. Let me kind of jump over to Rumble and see what is actually happening over there. If anybody is out there, just put your comments, concerns, and I really did. Let me make sure this is muted over here. Yeah, this is muted. There's no one over in the live chats out there because I really didn't put this out there way ahead of time. But I wanted to really talk about this. And have we lost our patriotism? I think it's a little bit slightly different now. I don't think that we have to go back and follow this whole I want you, but it's almost like what I'm hearing, I started to say this earlier, I'm going to wrap it up with this, is that there's 10,000 more that are going to be hired by ICE and the Border Patrols to go into the country to remove these illegals that don't belong here. I agree with that. that I'm taking that stance on that. And it just could be that I just see so much unfairness. Like I said to a lot of people out there, if you get a chance, go watch Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. Now I'm seeing out on X that people are wanting to bring Elon Musk back. Maybe we're going to see more of him so he can basically show you more of the waste that's been happening out there. And let's see here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to jump over to the Rumble rants out there. I see TCTME. Hello is out there. And there's someone that says, I believe New York City voters want a communist as a mayor. I don't know. Arnie, I'd be glad to throw you a link if you think you want to jump in here, because you are boots on the ground out in New York. And I will do that. Put it out there just in case. I'm not sure if you were even prepared for something like this, but this is me. I do things on the fly, and I'll just wait for him to say yes or no to me on this so that I can actually grab the link. And let's see here. Arnie's got a statement. Says media has brainwashed the new generation to forget the 9/11. It's been 25 years since 9/11. What they push is the patriotism to go over to other countries. Sadly, I see too many people in my area are saying they were ashamed of our country, and lots of TDS here. Whip and Spur 123, good to see you. Also, and I wish I could put the comments up here for Rumble, but I cannot. And I'm just waiting to see if I'm going to get a response from Arnie. And let's see what I can do here. Because I'm in the show, I don't know if I could send him the link, but let's see. I sure can. I'm just going to copy it. Anybody else wants to jump in here? This is not just for Arnie. I want to put this out. You guys want to jump in and talk about your country, your patriotism, how you feel about it? There you go. There's the link out there. All you have to do is, I probably will know you because there's only a few people here on YouTube, but I'm going to throw it out on Rumble also and just see what we get. If I don't like what you say, no, I'm kidding. If I think that maybe somebody just grabbing a link, especially out on Rumble, just to get in here, you can easily be kicked out. Just warning. All right, so let's see here. Amy Boyd has got a great statement. She says, I'm ready for a united America in the world. United America and the world. Yeah, and, I think we are getting there. So, there's a lot of people out there that are going, I don't know what to believe out on X. And whether or not this is supposed to be, or yesterday was supposed to be, where they go into the stores and they steal the food and they take the food from people who've already paid for it. They're walking out in the parking lots and grab their food out of their carts and put it into their car and all that other stuff. But my understanding is, if you understand what is actually happening, and I want to kind of talk lightly about this, I brought this up once before, is there's the word tariffs. If we have more money set in this tariff bucket than the central banking system, which is always in the negative, and we've got a positive in the tariffs, from my understanding, and I want to find that story out there, out on X, is that I believe what was said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Trump is going to take some of the tariffs to actually pay for actually pay for the mothers and the children to get fed. And we Arnie just came in. Oops. Arnie, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
No sound.
No sound.
All right. So yeah. So this is Arnie, you guys. While he's trying to find it, I just see it went mute. Okay. Is it on my end? It might be on my end. Okay.
Yeah,
Arnie, I think it was on my end. For some reason, it went out. I might have clicked. All right. Colleen's saying she can hear him. Arnie, how are you doing?
Okay. I'm doing all right. It's funny because like all the stuff going on here and what's going on all around the country, it's not only in this, it's also in the spiritual side too, on the spiritual community. It's that the energies coming in are causing division. But to not go on that subject, with what's going on here, yeah, it is absolute insanity because you have the youth of this country, which has been brainwashed into believing into something because they want to take over that's going to destroy them. So this is part of, I believe, what is going to happen anyway. It's not going to be as bad as people think. It's going to be made to look a lot worse than what it is, and it is to further waken up people because what they did in 20 years is it's brilliant, actually, the way that they do operate through their playbook. Because you go back 20 years ago, there was not one person that would stand for this. But now through programming and through brainwashing, yeah. Because I think I've seen a couple of things even this morning where there were people just going out and talking to people on the street. And they're like, would you vote for Mandavi, whatever his name is? He's socialist. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Wake up.
Well, they're
So,
catching them in all kind of lies. So that's what I'm seeing on X. But one thing I do want to say about X, I believe more of the truth is out on X. There's more bullshit out on X. It's crazy, but a very small percentage of people are on X, of the Americans. So where are these, Arnie, in your perspective, where do you think people are getting their news?
from the television. That's where they're getting it from their local television news. That's pretty much it, because that's all people do. They come home and they put that on. And they believe whatever the people on there tell them. Meanwhile, they're paid actors. That's sad. People don't use discernment. They don't look into things themselves. They just believe whatever they hear. And then if you tell them differently, you're the crazy one. It's just crazy. It's brilliant, but crazy what they do.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. So it's gotten to the point where they've focused on 3 states right now: New York, California, and Chicago. And rightfully so, because these are the largest states, right? It's the top 3 largest states. They've been corrupted for so long. And if you want to say that we're watching this being all played out and how brilliantly it was written to be played out, is that they have to expose the monies. They got to show the monies. Now, I did see something where the people that are left in California that can't leave, there's a lot of people that can't leave their state. And so if my message to you is stay where you're at, because this is all going to get a little bit better. There's going to be so many changes, and no matter where you go, there's basically evil. I don't, there's no other word that I can use for it.
Mhm. And like all this stuff, the politics, the elections, all of this stuff is to cause division. And that's the one thing people have to get past and see. We only get through everything united. Being divided, we are weak. United, there's nothing they can do. There's a handful of people because everyone thinks left, right. They think Republican, Democrat, and that's the show. That's the whole show right there. It is the people above them who control them, who are the ones that are scared, pardon my French, shitless right now, because there are so many people waking up and they're trying to do everything they can to keep them down and to keep us silent. And the more they do that, the louder we're going to get.
Right. So this statement I've got on the screen is coming from TCTME out on Rumble. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow me to grab their handle name. But this is interesting because I have to agree with her. I noticed the millennials or whatever Gen Z do not watch television. What are they watching, Arnie?
The Shrine Mirror, which is casting spells.
Right, right,
Brainwashing them. Because also that's another thing. Well, what do they put out there for them to see that's easily accessible? It's what they want them to
short
see,
clips.
and yeah, what their mind can handle because they can't handle good looking into anything. It's got to be 30 seconds to grab their attention. That's it. And it's always hate, division, and stuff like that. That's what they easily put out there for people.
Right.
Mhm.
Arnie, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I just hoping that you can hear me. I changed something on my computer, which I think
No, you're
they
good.
upgraded my software every other day. So what I basically want to say is I kind of lost my train of thought there because all right. So if the kids, I got to call them the kids because I'm not a kid. If they are not, so the short clips that are out there, and there's a reason this is done on purpose. The attention span. I put short clips out on True Lens, and it's only prayers for God because that's what I was being asked to do. Because all of a sudden I went from 400 followers, and then within 2 weeks I got up to almost 3,000. People want to see the good stuff that's out there in a short clip, or they want to know the bad stuff that's out there in a short clip. Their attention spans is completely short. This is done by design. What do you think?
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. And look at TikTok too. What's at the end of every TikTok video? What is that little sound? What's in that little sound? What frequency is in that sound? What, all the stuff that's like out there for them to watch too. Because all these, even this here, like YouTube, and I'm not sure about Rumble, but I'm pretty sure they all have algorithms. Like you'll see even like your meditations and all that stuff that people post up there, they'll say at a certain hertz. And when it uploads, it gets changed in the algorithm. And that's also like TikTok and all the things like that, Netflix, all these things that you stream and you watch. There are certain frequencies and things embedded within there to make you susceptible, to make you easily controlled. And that's why they once they start getting you in, they start with the little clips, because they know they've got these people and their attention span and whatnot is that's what they want. So what will take to actually wake people up is things like here, New York. What is most likely going to happen with this guy getting in? It's going to piss a lot of people off, and probably the National Guard will be coming into here and the other cities to clean it up. But
He's
also,
running for governor or for mayor?
Mayor with no background, no previous background. I think he's actually got a criminal past that they're hiding. Also, a lot with terrorism. But the media is not going to show you that because they want him in. That's part of the
Right.
propaganda machine, to get him in is them. And people are going to be in for a rude awakening, especially homeowners. And that because this guy actually wants you to have, like, let's say you have a 2-family, 1-family home, to have people living in your home with you. He'll be on a mansion somewhere. Like, get the hell out of here, But people really have to wake up. It is.
So I found something very, very interesting is how many wealthy people live in New York, and 800,000 will leave. Wait, there's 800,000 wealthy people, and you'll probably, I think that number is correct. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong out there, but they're all going to leave. They're going to go to other states. What's going to happen to the people of New York? Because he's saying right now, we're going to take the taxes from the rich to give to the poor. He thinks he's Robin Hood, for God's sakes. Then what happens when these when all of these people decide to leave to go to live in other states, start their businesses in other states, and other states are starting to prosper and become more and more wealthy, is that they're going to go after the everyday people's taxes, and they're going to tax the hell out of them. They say we're going to give you free rent, free transportation, free food. Nothing is free, and if anybody has learned anything in life, they should know that nothing is free in life. Somebody's going to pay for it, but the mentality even behind the EBT at this time is, screw you, I'm stealing because you go to work and I don't. I have 10 kids and you pay for me, or else I'll take it from you.
To cause the separation, to bring in the fear, to bring in division. And the same thing with taxes. Taxes are a total scam, always have been. All tax dollars that get collected, even from here, wherever, they're used on you. You're paying for your own destruction with tax dollars, because everything that gets funded within a city goes through a grant. It has nothing to do with taxes. That's always been a scam. And it's the same thing, but like the tariffs. I mean, that's how everything was paid years ago, before 1913. Tariffs paid for everything. We built parks, we built everything because we had such excess of money through tariffs. And then they took that away from taxing, the other countries, and putting it on the people. And when they first did this, it was 1% of your income they were taking. And at that time, you already had subways, you already had infrastructure, you had sanitation, you had all this stuff. So why do you need taxes?
So Arnie, if you were in charge of, let's just say, the school administration,
I'd be
and
killing.
I'm also going to say to anybody else. So hold on. Let me finish that thought. So I'm also going to say to anybody else who is in Michigan or Minnesota or even Dallas, Texas, there's a link that I threw out there. If you want to come into the channel and tell us about what is going on, what a certain, I don't know what it is, religion, Sharia law. If you have witnessed it, please come in and let us know. And I'll let you talk about this. But going back to what I want to say to Arnie is, if you were in charge of the school administration, because now it's going to be done at every state level, how do we deprogram these kids? I mean, it's easy to say, okay, anybody in grade school, we could easily do that. But now we're talking about the college kids. The college kids have been let loose. They think that they can kill anybody that they want to. How are we going to deprogram this? Do you have any ideas?
Reality. Living in reality is going to wake them up. That's what needs to be done. That's why all this stuff is happening. They live in a fantasy world. Everything that they see is not real. They need to experience it, and they're not experiencing it.
I know. So I can sit here and talk about when I was younger, that kind of thing. But I learned hard work and determination and not to stay in debt, all those things. Today, it's like I want a latte. I want Walmart to deliver my groceries right to my house because I need to have this in the morning. It's the convenience behind everything I think is really hurt a lot of people. I don't know if I enjoy any of the conveniences out there, to tell you the truth. I sometimes feel like I still do things the old-fashioned way, but I think that something has to change. Something's got to give, Arnie.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying right there is perfect. You're dependent. They want you dependent on them for everything, for your money, for your work, for your food. They don't want you to be self-sustainable. They don't want you to know how to put oil in your car. They don't want you to know how to change a tire. They don't want you to know how to feed yourself. They don't want you to know how to grow your own food. They want you reliant all on them. And with the schools, the first thing I would change is I would first of all eliminate probably most of the people that are in there and rehire new people. And I would also have trades, all different trades that the kids would have to learn, like wood shop, mechanic, cooking, sewing, anything that you do daily. I would have like a system where they would even teach them farming so that they can grow their own food. Because that's what they need to know, like things that are going to help them every day, not things that they go to school for 8 years and then go get a job and need to be totally trained, because what they were taught or programmed is nothing to do with what they're going to do.
Exactly. So you're hitting it on the head here, 100%, 1000% actually. So out on X, people are taking polls and saying, should we bring back the trades for the blue collar jobs? We're going to have to, because we have somebody that's bringing in a lot of these trades. You know, they're going to need to know how to do them again. They took them all out, and this is my soapbox because we lived it, Arnie. We watched it get taken out of our country. Now that it's coming back in, it's kind of like they're not seeing the writing on the wall. I remember people saying they're taking everything out and putting it in all these other countries. And we're going to be left having, at the time it was a fear that robots were going to take our jobs. That fear is still there, which is kind of silly. But what I'm seeing is that if I was in charge of the school administrations, I would basically say, okay, all you states want to have run your own schools, but you're going to have to be able to talk about or bring in workshops, bring in automotive shops, all the things that I remember my brothers were so excited that they couldn't wait to get to high school because they can learn how to put a car together. Take a car apart, put a car together. They were crazy, right? With all this stuff, they used their hands.
Mm-hmm.
The kids today are using this.
Mm-hmm. And what are they learning? They're not learning anything.
Let's see here. There was a statement that I put up here, and this was from TJQ, I think it is. And it says Dallas has an influx of people from India, Hamas, but Abbott 2.0 is ending their power grabs. That's great to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. And I don't think I realized how big. I used to know Minnesota is the state of 10,000 lakes. Now people can't even go there and remember why it's so great. It's beautiful. If anybody has never been there, it is very beautiful. Michigan used to be known as Detroit automotive, right? It's no longer that. I don't even know what it's known for now, but there are people out there, white women, that cannot walk down the streets of Detroit without being spit on because they don't have their head covered. They're not doing the whole Shara thing or whatever it's called that somebody tried to correct me on back there. And it's disgusting. I think that Arnie, Cheryl was the one that put it out there. I think that this has been going on. I just think it's being brought to our attention now, and I'm pissed about that. I'm really pissed about that so many people have been living through this bullshit. Now, I do remember when I was a consulting manager for, basically for computers, when I'd go in and I was a project manager, and I could not schedule a meeting between certain hours because they had to pray. That just blew my mind. I was just like, what the? And this was like late 1990s. So I'm guessing that's when this all happened, but I didn't know that it's at the extent where it is right now. Who was this being infiltrated by? Was the fearless leader of Obama. He brought him in from Somalia and other countries, and basically he's still kind of running behind the scenes. He's doing a lot of this. He's actually creating what I would say is a civil war, and we don't even know it's a civil war going on. What do you think, Ernie?
That's what they want. That was the original plan, the 16-year plan, but that got diverted back in 2017. So what you're seeing here is that they're still going to do everything they can because it's part of the satanic cult. It's part of what they've been doing for thousands of years. They will continue till they cannot go any further. They will try to push their plan. They will try to infiltrate this country. They will try to get the civil war because they know that's the only way that they can get the guns and everything like that away from the people. Because if that never happens, as long as you have your ability to defend yourself, they can never do anything to you because they're so small in numbers, actually. But it started with him, and it was derailed. And the military and the whatever you want to call them, the white hats or whatever, in the background is actually in control. And a lot of the stuff you see in this is a show. It's a show to wake up people. Shows suck sometimes. It hurts. It hurts people that are living here and all over. But it's something that has to be done because if they come in and they just turn everything over tomorrow, 15 years from now, the next generation, it'll be the same crap all over again. Everyone has to feel it and see it eventually and eliminate this for good once and for all. And people need to stand together in unity. Stop the division, stop the nonsense fighting.
All right. I'm going to take a pause for a cause. Thank you for joining me. Arnie, stay here. Don't go anywhere. I want to make an announcement that on Sunday's show, I didn't make this announcement, but I'm going to have a thumbnail up there. So the woman behind Jason Q is who I'm going to be interviewing. And I think it's something that we should always know, that there's always a strong woman behind a strong man. And I'm going to find out what she's all about. And her name is
Or
Dina Jump.
strong man behind a strong woman. Works both ways.
Say that again.
Or a strong man behind a strong woman. Works both ways.
Yes. Yes. So I'm going to interview Dina Jump on Sunday, and I still have to get the time. It'll be 5 or 6 o'clock Central Time, either one of those. So I want to find out. She has traveled this path and this journey with Jason Q, but we're going to talk more about her belief in her own spirituality. She's got her own spin on it. And so if you guys don't know who she is, please tune in on Sunday on Rumble and on YouTube also. I hope you guys will enjoy that one. I want to say thank you for everybody that has been following me out on Rumble. My numbers are going up. I'm so surprised by it all the time. But we're having people like Arnie and Buckshot and Joey G, just everyday people, because we the people have a voice, and everybody's voice needs to be heard. All right, back to you, Arnie.
What?
All right, so here's a statement out here. This is from TCTME out on Rumble. Her rant is supporter granddaughter tells me that one thing she has learned in the 4th grade, hashtags. Oh my God. Like Obama gay. Geez, I wonder where that will get her in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just learned hashtags 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's the nonsense that they push right now. That's got to stop.
Yeah.
And a part of the way that's going to happen is homeschooling. That'll help. Got to take the control away from these people.
Okay. So sorry about that. That was Dina just chatting with me, and I was letting her know that we are live, and I just mentioned this to her. So I'm kind of excited about interviewing her. And if anybody else wants to come on here to be interviewed for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. I think that all of us have a message or what have you to basically say out there. And, people are basically saying, let's make Detroit safe and great again. I think that the automotive industry is going to Indiana. I'm seeing more of that coming in. Indiana has been playing nicey with the current administration because they've got a lot more, pharmaceuticals are coming in there, AstraZeneca, all the Pfizer, all those other ones. I do want to also mention that just an update on RF Kennedy Jr.'s and what he's done for our industry. He's pulling a lot of the dyes out of the food, and there's a lot of talk out there that now when you go grocery shopping to pick up the stuff and see that it's not in there anymore, that was quick. I don't think that this happened this year. I think this happened a couple of years ago.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, I still don't buy anything right now, but if that is true. So what other topics are what would you say that you could enlighten us about what is actually happening in New York at this time? I mean, there's also I think Virginia and another state, I can't remember, there's having an election. Don't follow those as closely, but this one is big.
Mm-hmm.
In New York.
And but like I said, I believe the strings are pulled anyway for him to get in regardless.
So, do you think that he's going to get in there? Do you think that New York's got to suffer?
Yep, it has to. Plain and simple, it just has to. Because there are so many. It's not really New York as much as it is this area here, the five boroughs and like New York City. You go outside of here, anywhere in New York State, and everyone is, I would say, pretty much awake. Whereas here, they're just constantly being drilled with all these towers and all the frequencies and that, and they're just, this is something that they want. I don't know. I never looked into this, and surprisingly, because I live here. Does anybody out there know about New York City being a smart city and what year?
Let me share this with you 1 second, because I'm actually getting this live out there, and this is coming from people that are basically saying, sorry, we're closed. And why are they saying this? Is because Texas is full. New York, do not come here and escape what you did in New York. So this is what they're actually putting out there, is that they don't want people to leave New York, which I have a problem with this. I'm one of those people that went from Chicago to Arkansas to where I'm at right now, even further south. But for somebody to, I don't bring my, I never drank the Kool-Aid in Chicago. And so you have cat turd out there. It says, if you are a liberal, I guess they clarified it up here. I missed that. If you are a liberal, our state is closed. And U-Haul Employee of the Year, people are fleeing very quickly. Stop moving to Austin. This is all out there, you guys. This is how they feel about it. Don't New York, Mike, Texas. Problem solved. Good luck with your experiment, New York. Arnie, how do you feel about this?
I'm not going anywhere. There are people here.
Texas weapons checkpoint, 200 feet, 2 guns, minimum requirement.
People have to stay here to help others get through this. So I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, good. Good for you. Have you ever thought about going anywhere?
The mountains, the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I'll tell you, if you want to be excluded, you go to the Ozarks. That's all that I can say. I was there. I was on the tail end of the Ozarks, and I couldn't take it. Coming from a big city, it's a lot harder to adjust than you think, especially when you get set in your ways. I couldn't stand it. Everybody said, why did you leave that beautiful lake house? And I had 2 ravines on both sides of me. All I saw was deer, raccoons, and fox, and you name it. Every now and then I would see a person, and my soul wasn't set up for that. My husband's was, but not mine. I need a little chaos, I think.
I can do without the chaos. I just want the unity. And that's what we gotta keep working on. Gotta get the unity, gotta get people to stop the nonsense division. The quicker that happens, the quicker all this nonsense ends.
Yeah, so it, right away, I think they're starting to see that this guy here, he's going to be the Florida Realtor of the Year in 2026. A lot of people are going to see the writing on the wall. And is he an actor? What does your gut tell you, Arnie?
Someone put in there to play a part, just like the rest of them.
Yeah. Let's just hope and pray.
It may not even be the original person. I mean, people are going to hate me for this one too, but I mean, the leader of this country is not the same guy that was put in there 8 years ago either. Sorry. It's all a show.
I know.
Both sides.
I know. And I pointed out subtly, let me just come back to us here. I subtly pointed out, look, this guy's shorter than Melania. Come on. or it's just that, I even said to my husband, I think was watching TV, I said, one day his hair is gray, the next day it's blonde, next day it's orange. Come on, you guys. And then a lot of people, okay, so JD Vance out there, everybody said it was a certain actor with bright blue eyes. He's got brown eyes today, you guys.
Just like Biden did. One day blue eyes, one day brown eyes. JD Vance, in one picture he's bigger than Trump, another picture he's smaller than Trump. I think Vance was like 5'6".
Yeah.
And Trump, original Trump was like 6'3". That's a good trick. And they do things like that subtly to see how much people are paying attention. All part of the show.
All right, so I'm just trying to read some of these Rumble ramps out there. Let's see here. What is CW wagon? Somebody out there is saying Jason has jumped on the CW wagon. See, I don't understand when they talk in these terms like this. So I have, to be honest with you, I don't follow anybody out there. A lot of people send me videos to watch. I prefer to use my own mind, my own way. If something comes to me, it comes to me because I was meant to see it. And that's my rule of my own. It's not spirituality. It's just how I've always been. And I want to get to being me. I don't want to be controlled by an influencer out there that thinks that they have the 411. What the hell is going on? But that's their perspective. So, Arnie, I'm going to switch to a little bit of spirituality with you about reality, and kind of talk a little bit with you. So the reality for everybody says I create my own reality. Do you believe that's true, or do you believe that they're all still sheep?
No, we create our own reality. We definitely do. What you believe, what you feel, but in creating your own reality, it's something that you have to really feel, believe, and do every day. You got to live it. When you live it, it happens. And that's what I'm saying. If people would just stop the division, stop giving into the news and stop giving into everything that they see, because right away the reaction is always like, it's like panic. And you want the perfect world. You want a good world. Make it happen yourself. Be the person that makes the change. Because that's one thing that I've always heard is, how am I going to do anything? I'm one person. I can't do it. Yes, you can. And then, because we're all one also, and collectively, in the right mindset, the right way of looking things forward, that's what's going to be. So, yeah, we do create our own reality, and we do have the ability to make it happen. But you got to believe
Definitely.
it. You got to see it. Mm-hmm.
All I want to do is kind of end this with just basically saying, man, we need to pray. And I truly do believe in praying, whether you call it prayer or meditation or visualization, talking to the universe, talking to your creator. And, if anything, I just want to pray for the children, because it's so important. I'm not going to be around here 40, 50 years from now, but they will be. And you know what? I'm learning to accept that the way that they think is not their fault. It really isn't the way that it's their fault. It's just the level of consciousness has changed so much. But they can't forget history. They can't forget where they came from, so that they know where they can go. And I think that's a problem, is that and I mentioned this the other day, and Buck was saying this, that a lot of the kids do live in the moment now, which is fantastic, because in the 1990s, there were 100,000 books written about live in the moment, be in the moment. But the problem with that is they're not looking towards their future, or they're not utilizing the spiritual tools that they can manifest for their future. Does that make any sense, Arnie?
Yeah, but living in the moment is the actual thing that you need to do. But you have to know what moment you're living in.
And how do
Are
they
you
do?
living,
How would they know that?
are you living in your moment, or are you living in someone's created moment? Right now, a lot of the world is living in someone else's created moment,
I
which
live
is
in my
what
memories. What if I were to say to you, Arnie, I live in my memories a little bit too much, and then I snap out of it, and I realize, okay, I miss my family that has passed on the other side. I miss that, and I waver back and forth. That's my reality. Is it good? Is it bad? But then I carry on and I continue with my life and my belief systems. What are these kids doing if they
they're
don't
living.
even think, they don't think 10 years ahead.
They're not, because they're not living in their own manifested reality. They're living in someone else's, in a created one. And that's another thing that with like all of this, it's not left, it's not right. It's a higher source, a higher being that cannot manifest. So the manifestation has to be created through us. So that's why I say, are you living in your reality, or are you living in someone else's reality made for you? Sort of a matrix. I live in my own reality because I choose not to follow. I choose not to accept what's in front of me. I'm going to make it different. And when each person starts doing that, that's when the change happens.
I'm going to give a shout out to Charlene 321 out here is making a great statement. Now I'm going to think about this a little bit before I. History
Yes.
is something we need to know. If history is a lie, then we live a lie. So moving forward, this might be the answer to the question I asked Arnie. We have to know the lies and then we have to know the truth. So moving forward is if I was a history teacher, I would basically say, we were told this, but in reality, this is what happened. And that can be a proven fact because of what we know. Will it be lost? Is another thing. So there was a civilization before us that we don't know about.
Tartaria. It's right in front of us. It's, in New York, it's right in front of everybody. Grand Central Station was not built by us. The St. Patrick's Cathedral was not built by us. They probably couldn't even build that today. It was all here. Everything. That's why in the his story books, you'll always see founded in, because they came up and said, "Oh, look, I found this. Oh, in 2003 or whatever." And then they start from there. They create the his story that they want you to know. There is a totally different history, but you have to look for it. It's still there.
Yeah, and
That's why
I think that there's so much information out there that people can get distracted. Um, with a lot of different things. And I think if I was queen and I was in charge of the school administration, I'd have to really think hard with a round table of people and say what is important to teach them at various levels, various grades, they can get to the point that when they finally get to college, they can think for themselves, or they could. I see everybody wanting to debate stuff, but what they're debating out there, it's almost like what Charlie Kirk brought in was the first step. There's more of that needs to be done, and I think it needs to be done at a younger level, a younger age, I should say. And I think some of the parents need to go back to school. To be honest with you, what are the ages of these people having babies out there? Are the ones that have been misled.
oh, school is just training and brainwashing anyway, because they want to take the creativity and the freedom of thought away, and they do it, you know, like 3, 4, 5 years old. Yeah, you have to listen to that person in front of you. That person has the answers. They tell you what's right or wrong. You don't think. You just answer what they tell you to answer. Like I always say this, and this goes from the school to the college to the job. There's always someone up there that's telling you what to do. Don't think for yourself. Do what we tell you to think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the problem is thinking for yourself. So when I was a little kid, my mother, and it really it starts in the home. So my mother is a young mother, 5 children, taught us all how to rely upon the older one. Across the street, I held the hand of my older sister, and my younger sister held my hand, and it went up the chain. But when, it was almost as if my mother taught us to stick together, take care of each other, but at the same time, we were so obedient. This obedient came from her generation of what if I leave the house, for example, and I saw this out on X somewhere, when your parents left the house, what was the one thing that they told you to do if you're going to be home left alone? They didn't go out and get a sitter. They couldn't afford that. Mine was sit here in front of this television until I get back and don't move. My mom would walk in through the door an hour later from the grocery store, and there we are sitting in front of the TV, and we didn't move. I would never have thought to disobey her. Then when you get into the workplace, you're going to obey your manager. It's a never ending thing of obeying, but the difference between obeying and believing the information that they're giving you are cognitive. I guess basically what I'm trying to say here is that I wasn't allowed to talk back to my mother, so I never would voice my opinion to her, which I never did in the workplace or with friends or anybody else. But then there was all these other wild children out there that did opposite of me, and those were the ones that didn't go to school, they didn't finish college, they did drugs, they did all this other stuff. They were the blue collar workers. They did what they wanted to do in their life, and all I can say is hats off to them because I did on some level conform or complied until I got to a certain part of my life when I was in corporate where I said, "This is all bullshit. I can't believe it anymore."
Yeah, I used to get in trouble all the time because it would be, oh, you have to join the Pride group. No, I don't. I wouldn't. I would never
Yeah.
do whatever they wanted me to do. I was always the
Yeah.
problem child at work. Yeah.
I remember those pride parades when they first started coming out, and everyone was like, "You've got to back them. It doesn't mean that you are that you are. You have to be a part of it. You just got to get on the parade." And I was like, "I that's not my belief system. It wasn't even in my level of consciousness." And then I was like, "What is pride?"
Not
You
my
know?
job description. Yeah.
Yeah. If these grandchildren of the people of the pride parades can't even tell you what a man or a woman is, this is what they did to did in the schools. And so we have to get back and start talking about biology and the truth and all that. And I just pray that this all does come to fruition. I may not have the power to do it, but I have the voice to say it. And thank you so much for joining me, Arnie.
You have the power. You're doing it right now. Stop the negative think.
I can't
You
I
are
can't
making
walk
a difference.
I guess I could. I guess I could go into my state school administration. Um, I want to share a little bit of a story here that pisses me off to no end. Is that talk about the signs that I was showing that people were saying stay out, New York, don't come here, and all that other stuff. There's some people that I know that did come from Chicago that brought that in there, and they are in the school administrations, and I can see it. I don't like it, and they're the head of the school administration in a local place where I'm at right now, and their belief systems are crazy because they are liberals, and they. I just had this said to me the other day from my friend. Her daughter's husband is part of the running the school administration, and these are the ones that said Charlie Kirk was a bad guy. Charlie Kirk was bad. What are they telling these kids in the year 2025 after Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck, and all these school teachers out there, who shouldn't we have the authority if we hear this to remove those people in the schools?
The problem is the people backing them are the ones telling them what to do. So the only way to do that is with the schools. Don't let your kids go to school. Homeschool them. You take the power away from them. They have no power to do anything anymore.
I guess we're always going to have people that are going to believe in something different than us, and hopefully, it, and I guess that's where I kind of struggle. We're always going to have a left. We're always going to have a right. We're always going to have red and blue and all this other stuff, and people can have their own opinions about everything. But I guess when we talk about misinformation, if somebody truly believes that CK was really bad, and I'm sitting there thinking CK did justice to the college students, where do you draw the line in the sand to say that somebody can't say something in teaching our kids? I guess when they start promoting the angst, they start promoting, the killings, the fightings, all that other stuff. There's got to be where they draw the line. What do you think, Arnie?
Just don't let fear rule your world. So that's what they want. They push fear. They push fear and division. People just have to stand their ground, say enough is enough. It's just that simple.
Arnie, let's just kind of go back, like say 30 years from now, or go back 30 years, and your child comes home from school and says, Dad, my teacher thinks, say it's a girl, my teacher thinks I should have a penis. Would you sit there and not say anything?
Hell no. I would have been right up there. Oh, hell no.
So I honestly believe that there needs to be some monitoring within the administrations of these schools, and how we come about that and who is on those boards is to be determined. That's all I've got to say, and I'm going to move on from that conversation. Anything else in closing, Arnie?
Just stop the division, stop the left and the right and all that stuff, and just unite. Don't fall for the BS that they throw at you all the time. It's all a show. But just be careful in the show, because the show is a reality show. So you must be careful. Okay?
Yes, it is. It is a soap opera. That's for sure. So thank you, Arnie, for jumping in here. I appreciate it. This was fun. I like it when you guys do this improv thing with me, and I hope that everybody else is totally enjoying this. Please, everybody, have a blessed day. Go with the highest vibrations you possibly can. There's going to be things that are going to trigger each and every person, but we have to basically take a step back, find yourself again, readjust your energy, and know that you are loved and you're not alone. And we have protection around us at all the time.
Yeah.
And Colleen is going to say, don't give your power away. Thank you, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Arnie.
Thank you. Unite, do not fight.
What was that?
I said, unite, do not fight.
There you go. There you go. It's really hard. It's really hard not to fight internally. And I think that's where we're all at right now. So what you say is a blessing to my ears, but inside I might be struggling with what is right, what is wrong, all those things. Give it up, give it to God, and see what happens. Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time we see you, and not before then. Bye-bye. Thank you, Arnie. Bye.
Thank you.